Welcome back to Arkansas Bigfoot. I'm glad everybody woke up on the airish side of the terra firma today. On the chance that there may be a few discarnates listening to the sound of my voice, call home. Your people have questions. Yeah, we've been getting a lot of questions as to the answer to it all, or the matter of it all, and I think all is a pretty large, infinite field to play in, so we'll try to narrow some of it down to a few particular things. Like, one of the questions that keeps popping up is, what do the X's and the arches and the structures mean? Mm-hmm. And I think we're going to try to tackle some of that today. So we're starting in the back to go forward, and it is a great time of afternoon. And so a lot of people say that the X's are a warning, don't come into their territory. It's a territory marker, and that seems to be what everybody wants to say, and that might hold true to some spots in some parts of the country. I don't think that is necessarily what it means all of the time. There's a lot of different glyph formations and stuff that we've found out here that have nothing to do with the X formations, that are more like a warding symbol, trying to keep out negative energies that might want to come into Sasquatch's space.
Well, and some of you might be familiar with our relationship with who we call Big Daddy or Anku, and I asked if maybe he could help give us clarification at least to what's in our woods, although there could be differences in other areas. So we thought we would find some of these anomalous things and see what comes up about them. Where would you like to start?
Well, several videos back I was talking about using the EMF meter out here on different spots, and I kind of wanted to show a little bit of that to everybody. We're standing back here by this big ground nest, and of course we've got the stone circle and got some glyphs and some other things around it.
Okay.
Let me dig into my pocket and get my phone out, and we'll get this situated. Well, I have two hands and one of them is about useless. Hold this for 1 second.
Okay.
Alright, so we're back here by the ground nest, and it's kind of bouncing between 49 and 50, which we've said before, we feel like that's kind of high for out here.
Seems to be the standard. I don't know if we'd get something different over the circle or not.
This is his circle glyph and the orgone blocks. I don't know if you can see the meter or not, but get my hand out of the way. It's about 72. There's 130, 139, somewhere in there.
Which is really funny, because when we put the orgone straight on top of the EMF,
it went the opposite way.
Yeah, it dropped 5 points.
So now it's coming down. 88, 90. I got to pull my glasses back up. I can only see up close with them, and I can't see anything out far ahead of me with them on. So give me another second. Hate being in that over the hill gang.
I think somebody had thought this was a hunting blind, right?
Well, they've had several opinions. Hunting blind, of course, obviously, that's not really anything that's going to provide a shelter for rain or elements or anything like that.
We do notice with the entanglement of the branches, a lot of times we will catch the younger ones. So I'm wondering if it's for camouflage. This just showed up, so
Yeah, this glyph here showed up about, what, 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, somewhere in there.
A week and a half or so. So is there anything else?
So once again, looking at this, I'm down at what, 40, I can't see it, 43, 46, something like
46,
that.
46,
Get down there closer to it. It comes up a little bit, bouncing around, but it's got a little bit energetic life to it. So all of these things have a meaning of energy spots.
They're telling me this one's not specifically a hunting blind. This came up originally when we first started using this second gifting tree, and we caught a night photo, the very first trail cam photo, and the only one that we've clearly gotten of Junior on the other side of this, or who we believe to be Junior. So now, you know, with the twins, and not so sure that Mama doesn't have smaller ones, but the feet are small in there, and I'm wondering if it's just not proper camouflage for the young ones. Interesting, huh?
Well, let's get this tree set up while we're back here, and then we'll move forward and we'll look at some of these other glyphs and structures as we go on up the trail. But we've theorized that some of them are their hot spots where they kind of portal in and portal out through. And of course we'll check the energy flow up around those arches and see what that looks like. But you can see that foot scuff right there. It's fairly big and looks like a big paddle foot up at the front.
What's left of the mineral block?
Broke it in half and took part of it with them. Yeah, I've got the wide angle lens on here today, but it might look a little odd when I'm zooming in around the edges, so at least you'll know what's going on with that. Yeah. So we've got some standard fare for them today, corn and popcorn and chips and their standard peanut butter and apple, and hopefully we won't get them too wired up this evening. Give them a break from all that sugar and caffeine before.
I'm pretty sure that Mama was probably fussing us out.
Yeah, I don't think she was entertained with all the bouncing and screaming and thrashing around, but But inevitably, whenever we're coming back this direction from the first gifting tree, it always feels like the energy shifts once we get up around these arches and stuff. So we're gonna go check it out. That little glyph has been on the trail now for a few months.
Is that protective? This is telling me that that is protective. And what I'm feeling, okay, Anku, let's do it right. What I'm feeling is this showed up a couple months back, and we had a really rough energy going on back here. And the way that it was expressed to us is that sometimes other energies will try to use certain portals, certain gates, and they're not always welcomed by these people either. So what I'm feeling, because I know we've seen more than one on the ground, there's one
on out through the woods. It's very similar to that one.
But what I'm feeling is that this is almost like a glyph of a glyph of protection. And there's something about the way that these limbs are going in all directions. It's very symbolic that that protection is intended to go in all of those directions. And that probably right here is a portal, am I right? Yes. There's a portal here, so what it does is it protects the gate to that so that it's a more specific type of energy that can come through instead of anything that can harm.
Alright, so on the EMF meter standing out here a little ways away from it, I don't know if you can see that, it's showing 51 right here, 51 kind of bouncing to 52. And get down close to it. 105, 106. Wow, you touch it, it goes up to 160.
There you go.
So what is the meaning?
That's not a very big fella.
What is the meaning of it all?
It's all in, they have okay, the way it's being relayed to me is that they have they're very aware of sacred geometry. They're very aware of what directs energy. So each of these symbols, shapes, glyphs has a purpose in that it directs, frames, contains energy depending on what they need it for. The arches.
There's some right up there in front of us.
Yeah, and there's a big old X right in front of us too. So I'm just chuckling up there.
And we've also speculated that a lot of these out here where Junior was practicing his art of making limb structures and glyphs and all of that. We've had some really, really large ones pop up earlier in the winter time, but the majority of them that you see back here are, like you see in front of us now.
That great big one is Big Daddy.
There's some huge arch up there. But this thing here, and this is just about where the energy shifts as we're walking through here.
So this is standing on its side versus on the ground, which would tell me that, I'm looking here, that there's more of a door here than, like some of the portals, the way it's being shown to me is some of the portals that are in the ground themselves are almost like a vortex. It comes up from the earth,
like a spiral through.
More like a spiral. Here, it's feeling, which I haven't tested yet, it's feeling very door-like, and it's pointing at that tree. So what that tells me is that the door is actually a part of this tree space. And if you look, there's track all the way around and down from the tree, which is interesting to me. But they've also put glyphs on the ground. So I suspect, yes, you put glyphs on the ground. Thank you, Claire. Is this a protective glyph? Again, protective. And originally, this was actually standing straight up, which I'm going to put it back that way.
Yeah, the wind may have shaken the tree enough to slide it over, but
and it's not really to keep us or them out. It's more of a buffer against other energies that would try to use this, which I think is really cool. Very cool. Let's see what it says.
It's showing 5051 again. And get up here close to it. It really hadn't changed there. Creeping up slightly right there.
Might try the tree too. More for curiosity.
Yeah, it's going way up. I can't see it. It's around 210, somewhere in there.
But here we have a small foot. That's one of the young ones. So it's, you know, it's not that they can't be here. It's for their protection. And we started noticing these about the time we started really finding their tracks. So I feel like it really is for their protection until they get their bearings about them. I think they instinctually know a lot, and I believe it's in their memory. I don't believe they have any written record. I believe they have open access to their genetic memory.
And this thing here, they roped that vine around that tree and then later on hung that little plastic toy up around it. And I think it's just more of a boredom and decoration thing than anything else.
Yeah, I can ask, but I don't think it's... Let's see. Is this anything? No. But... here at the end of this tree. And I think what Anku is pointing out to me is the framework.
How that's kind of like a little standing room inside of that.
And the entanglement, this is a little bit different than the traditional arches, but the entanglement, the way he's showing me is that the entanglement gives a framework also for, if you will, their energy, if they're in a cloaked state. Otherwise, they really don't have control quite the same way, and they may look bigger or smaller than they are, but the framework is close and true to their size. And each one of these, he's telling me, if we really look, has something of a signature. For those that, he's pointing over here. Okay, let's go over here. For those, okay, I don't want to confuse anybody. I'm just giving it to you the way I'm getting it. Each of these people has their own energy signature, just like we do, he says. In that, their preferred spots, if you will, are designed for their energy signature. So, he's mentioning Mama to me. Let's find it. About this, and we'll see if there's any others to test it, But what's significant about this is something small, but it is this right here. That is part of her signature. So the others know more or less that that's her spot. It's sort of territorial, but not in a possessive way.
This is my chair. Stay out of it.
Yeah, really. So we'll see if we can find. Let me grab my bucket.
That one over there I definitely want to check out.
Okay. This showed up, was it the same time that the Union Jack showed up on the ground or no?
Probably back in March, February, or March sometime.
Okay, Anku, let's talk. I see feet all the way around it. There's 1, 2.
Yeah, there's a foot track. There's a foot track.
What is this? Yes, you will talk to me. That's nice. Give me a clue here. Is it a signature? No. Is it portal? No. I'm hearing road sign. Directional. For everyone? No. For Junior? No. He said Junior built it. Sorry, Junior.
Well, no, and Junior's probably saying this is my way to the food.
Right? Actually, I'm looking to see how it does point. This is what's interesting, because directionally I can understand these going left and right. The ones going up and down are what are curious to me, unless it has to, okay, right there, he just showed me. For the babies, you see that entanglement up there? That is a proper entanglement for them. So the very smallest ones, they would have been much smaller then. That is direction for them, that is a place that's been set energetically for them, which I never would have noticed. Thank you, Anku. So this one is literally pointing straight to
Pointing up to the tree.
Yeah. These, I'm looking to see here. I mean, we can test each one.
Well, looking off to that side, there's that twin pine right there, and if you follow it up, there's the same thing up in the top of it. And so if I follow the arm of it around that way,
I'm feeling, I don't know.
He's got it pointed at that tree where all those leaners are at.
Right here in front of us.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, but the vine work is important, and I suspect if we go back through some of these videos based on what he's giving us today, we probably will see certain outlines. Sometimes they're almost physical. You can really make them out if the light's right or so on. But I suspect if we actually took the time to keep track of what's being tested, that's where we would see those outlines, those impressions of their energy. So, really fascinating. Okay, thank you, Anku. You bet.
Well, grab the bucket and we'll slide on down a little farther.
He loves this. He is such a teacher. He loves sharing information.
Yeah, I showed this tree the other day after I collected up that voice recorder and did my walk later on.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
But that happened that same night that they were all jacked up on the caffeine and sugar.
Somebody go vine swinging a little hard.
Ask Aunt Koo if that's one of Junior's little rip snorts through here.
This fallen tree, does this belong to you guys? He says yes, he's pointing to the right. Huh. Okay. Babies. Whoop. You. He says, oh no. Oh, that's funny. If he were going to take a tree down, it'd be a lot more of a tree than that, he says. Oh, you men. Alright, so that leaves us what? Mama and Junior. Yeah, Junior was just showing himself. Just having fun. I think the impression I get is that Junior doesn't always know his own strength. So I remember,
like Dad used to say to all of us young boys, said you're all okay until you get a sniff of gas and perfume and then you lose your mind. Maybe that's the way he is with coffee and sugar.
Yeah, so we'll apologize if we created chaos for y'all. Okay, so let's see here. XX.
Yeah, that took a little bit of tugging and pulling to...
He said they'll use it though.
I imagine the young ones will go sit up in that and watch for us coming.
Likely. But there's even an arch built into the falls. That's so perfect.
It's right here over all these arches.
Yeah, this spot's pretty fascinating. Let's see. Anything particularly different here? Let's check it out. On to little house, please. Look at that. That's Junior. Okay. This spot. These arches. Well, then we have another.
Yeah, there's another little Union Jack looking thing right there.
Okay. So is this... He cheats a lot. I started to ask.
Gets ahead of the question, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's all over it. I started to ask if this was another point of protection, if there was a portal area here, and he just, before I could even ask, he already had it to a yes, thank you, clear. So, where's the portal? That's it. Portal.
Well, we're kind of standing under it.
That's what yeah, it is. Here's an X. We're like right in it. Okay. No warping here. So, just point to what's protective here for the energies, or for the space of the energy is what I want to say. What's protection? This is protection. Pointed right to that. Thank you. And then anything else? Of course, this behind you. It's anything else. He's telling me there's something beyond it.
Probably that right there. You see against that?
Yep, he just went there. Right there. Beautiful. Thank you, Uncle. So, I guess if you're having trouble on your property, you know, you can set some of these up. They're like a trident, only not, well, I don't know, not really. It's an axe with the center. I'm sure everybody calls them something different. We call them, they remind us of a Union Jack. Okay, what else? Anything else here that's significant? Oh, right here in front of me. He's opening wide up.
Yeah, I'm trying to get my EMF meter out again.
Okay, what do arches need? There must be one behind me.
Alright, right here, it's showing me 50. I don't know if I can get the glare off of that for you guys to see. 49 right there. I'm going to walk under the arch and hopefully not disappear into Never Never Land, but let's...
He says it's all good. I got you, brother. That's funny. He's starting to...
Holy crap. 266, 265.
Yeah.
Going through.
Let me get my phone.
Sorry for the Blair Witch shaky cam. My right hand works pretty good most of the time. My left hand's miserable, so I just do the best I can with what I got.
I think you're doing fine. A warm one today.
Yeah, it's a little
Let's see what
humid.
I'm gonna see if this arch is the same. It's all the way to the ground. So yes, arches are doors. He says. I hadn't even
Hold
had
that for 1 second.
a chance to ask.
Well, come around the other side of my arm.
Okay, I'm gonna come around.
Where are you? Come over here. I could tell her right all day and she circles me to the left.
Well, the other side of your arm would have been over there. Okay.
Which side is the camera on? Are we going to stand here and have this argument?
Nope.
Alright, so out here away from this it says 46.
Okay.
39 kind of takes a dip to 38 right there.
It's one of the lowest spots that we've actually found out here.
There she goes. 55. And we'll get right under it. 127. 130. Move through it and she starts to drop. Alright, so as you can see, we are loaded with these things everywhere.
Are these dimensional? Yes, these are dimensional doors. A little different than the portals that we found with the ground glyphs. These are their dimensional doors. The ones that they specifically use because they're designed for their travels, for their he gives me the word experience, which is interesting, but the other ones that come up from the ground are more of a natural portal, and like almost anything can use that type of energy. It may be more associated with like the ley line energy or smaller ley lines, grid work.
I just wanted to show this one off because I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
But it goes on and all the way up through that. We could spend days out here just
Doing arches.
marking spots.
So let's see, the babies have, it's like they know based on more or less whose they are, by size, by height, by design, whose are whose. And like the young ones know that they can use these, but they don't try to use the big ones. It's almost like they don't have permission to yet. And it's sort of a rite of passage. When they're big enough to make them a certain size, then they're big enough, old enough to
Well, I can hear it now.
expand themselves.
I can hear it now. This is your tricycle. Stay out of my truck.
Something like that. Okay.
Well, your bucket is over there behind you. And let's check this one real quick, and then we'll go hit that gifting tree. And
so, is this like the one with the trunk?
you'll have to speak up.
Oh, I'm asking. I was asking if this one was more like the one where that stump was. He said no. So, is this protected? Yes. And the portal is where?
Over there.
Over there. I feel like it's between.
Probably right back under those arches we just came from.
That far? Portal, portal, portal. Who's pointing here with this one?
You see that great big arch that's wrapped up and looped up around that?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably it right there.
Maybe. He was kind of pointing here to this twin with the leaner going across it.
Yeah.
So, this is a very interdimensional spot all the way through here, obviously. Which explains why we normally build a lot of shit.
That was S-H-I-F-T, correct?
Yes, S-H-I-F-T.
Just checking.
Ornery.
Well, I left everything the way that I found it, so you could fix it the way you want it.
Thanks. Looking for, just watching for feet.
Well, since I walked through here to show everybody on camera, it might have some of my footprints in it.
That's possible. We'll just keep on trucking. I don't know why they've been scraping and digging there. some digging in here. Probably one of the young ones. Oh. Wish they'd fix their branches.
Well, move it up out of your way.
It's alright. Now that whole side of that sandbox is bare. Or something just sat there playing. Okay. That's it.
Is looking for more chocolate. I didn't see any teeth marks in it when I looked at it, so he just popped it off with his fingers and flipped it over there.
Okay.
Well, anyway, you can debate this stuff all day. Everybody's got an opinion based on their own experiences and their own circumstances. This is just what's being given to us and what we wanted to share with you.
You're saying something about marbles and spheres? That they like the marbles because they're spheres. Simple as that.
Well, that would make sense. Why the balls always get carried off also. That one there, it's down low, looped around and tied to that tree.
Sure is.
You didn't see that empty drink bottle that we put the coffee in anywhere, did you?
Not yet. We'll keep an eye though. We may have to check.
Well, this little spot kind of feels heebie-jeebie.
I feel like all of them sit here. He said there's only a few places that are actually designed for all of them to be together, like sit together. But each of these, so what he's pointing out is each of these mini arches are, these in particular, are to give framework to their size, their energy. So, if that's the case, somebody's sitting tall.
In case you wonder where we're going, we're headed back toward Junior's little man cave hideout, so we wanted to check on it. We hadn't looked at it for a while. But there's a X framework and little arches there right underneath a huge tall arch that's about 20 foot up. And there were several people questioned whether or not we ever saw that hair trap box again, and I haven't seen it since the day it disappeared, so I don't know if he threw it into the pond or carried it off to another corner of the woods that we haven't walked into yet. We got a ropey tangle of vines going on here. I'm trying to find a spot to weave my way through it. I think he's telling little sister to stay out of my spot.
Yeah, his brother too.
No girls allowed.
If Jug has anything on here. Junior's turning into a pretty cool cat.
Right there it is.
What the heck is that? You see that whole thing?
What?
Optical illusion from back there, that blonde colored. So what is that? It's wild.
I think it's part of that log that's been rolled out. He was tearing it up. I don't know, trying to get the grubs or something down in that. Well, he's been playing with the Spam can in the bag.
That's so weird because that just didn't even look like that back there.
Yeah, all that's pulled over and down now. Alright guys, we're going to go find something cool to drink and we will catch you later on down the trail. Thanks for coming in. Bye.